I'm Matt Menard. To me, comedy isn't just my dream, it's my obsession. You see your favorite comics on Netflix, but rarely do you see the struggle it took to get there. I'm in New York City, trying to make it the most competitive place on the planet. I write, I tell jokes to empty seats, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm an open micer. Another week, another open mic. One thing I'm going to be working on this week, and something I'll have to work on moving forward, is being present on stage. After going to a show this past weekend with a few amateurs and a pro headliner, the biggest difference between the amateur comics and the pro was that he was talking to the audience while the amateurs were talking at the audience. Because I work so diligently on my writing and my word selection, I get cocky with how smart I think I am. I'll have this mindset that all I have to do is say what I wrote and they'll be falling out of their chairs. And Mr. Netflix will come up to me after I get off stage and say something like, "You're a comic genius. Your thoughts on dating apps are so new and fresh." A new joke that you think will work is intoxicating to think about. But if you're not in the room with the audience, you'll get pity laughs at best. Some of the funniest shows I've been to are comics doing crowd work in which they didn't have anything prepared. Crowd work is when a comedian asks members of the audience questions and then uses that to make up jokes off the top of their head. Crowd work is a skill that every comic needs, but it's hard to practice without a live audience. So while doing crowd work at an open mic is difficult, I can at least have my material memorized enough to where my head is clear, and I can be in the room and have the freedom to riff if I need to, knowing that I've got my set down and I know all the moves. So I've received a few DMs with questions, so I thought I'd take a chance to answer some of them. Matt, how long have you been doing comedy? Well, as of April 22nd, 2021, it'll be 2 years since I started stand-up, if you count the COVID year. I don't know how much better I was able to get in 2020, but if nothing else, it taught me how to think outside the box in regards to stage time. In the grand scheme of things, I haven't been doing comedy long. Because I started comedy later in life than most people, I'm a little self-conscious about it, and I'm trying to get as good as I can as quickly as I can. That includes writing every day, getting on stage as much as possible, and producing shows when the world isn't a dumpster fire. Question 2 was, how do I write my jokes, and what's my process? To be honest, it's constantly changing, and I try to see what works for me. I'll do a deep dive in later videos, but I'll break it down to the basics. I try to write 27 jokes every day. That number is specific for a reason I'll explain later. I work on topics and premises in 5-minute chunks. If I get a good premise that I think can be stretched, my goal is to stretch it into a 5-minute banger. If you write at least 5 killer minutes a month, that's a whole hour after a full calendar year. Granted, if you're an amateur like me, it'll only be about 15 minutes of real funny, but that's something you can sell. I find the funny usually in conversations. Take my adorable terrorist bit. And that bit came from having a conversation with my mom about her new dog and being weirded out that she just called him a terrorist like it was normal. That's where a lot of my comedy ideas come from. It's the thought that this weird thing happens every day. Why is no one addressing this? So, step 1 is making the concept funny. Step 2 is making sure it's broken down to a level where no one really has to think too much to get the joke. Step 3 is asking if this idea really represents who I am. And lastly, does an audience really want to hear this material coming out of this face? If I had this down to a science, trust me, I'd be much further along in actually getting booked on shows. The last question was, what's the best way to get booked on a local bar show? And I don't really have an answer for that. I think the simple answer is just be funny on stage, but I don't get booked on anything, so I'm trying to figure that out myself. If you're depending on another comic to give you stage time on one of their shows, good luck. Unless you're an extremely desirable get, it's just not going to happen. Control what you can control and don't take it personally. I'm still learning to not take it personally. So you're probably going to take it personally.
I can really feel the energy. This is great. Thanks, guys. Oh man, I tell you what, these outdoor open mics, they are brutal for me because I have anemia. Yeah, so believe it or not, I do get whiter. Like, that's a thing. Like, sometimes I get so white after Labor Day, I can't even leave my house. Like, it's rough. All right, one person got that. It's going well. Yeah. If I had a superhero name, it would be Lack of Iron Man. So that's always cool. I am originally from South Louisiana. That's why I don't really do well with the cold. I was back there for the holidays, and we hit up a couple of drive-through daiquiri spots. You guys know what drive-through daiquiris are? Yeah, baby. Yeah. Because what you want when you're going 85 miles an hour is to go, oh my God. Oh my God. That's definitely what you want, right? Yeah. The crazy thing is, like, we have open container laws in Louisiana, but the politicians made a rule that you can serve it alcohol in a to-go cup, and it's not an open container as long as you put tape on the top. Like, I can't believe that politicians don't know how a Capri Sun works, you know? Like, you just gotta punch the straw. I mean, there must have been plenty of those on Epstein's Island. So, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. But I was recently talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying, you know, Matt, my life would be a lot easier if I were white. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think you'd make a very good white guy. You say the N-word a lot. Plus, you're Puerto Rican. You might be part of the problem. Call me crazy. This crowd loves that one, I can tell. Yeah. No, so it's hard being the only white guy in your friend group because, like, the traditional thing is like, you know, let the white guy talk to the cops. Let the white guy talk to the cops. Listen, I went to a Black Lives Matter rally. The cops hit everybody now. Maybe that's progress. I don't know. What do you guys think? Huh? No?
So that's a situation called, well, it worked the last time I said that joke. And because it involved race, it's that moment of, maybe this is one of those jokes they don't want to hear coming out of this face. These things happen, but you can't let it get you down. I'm on my way to the second open mic of the week, and once again, it's in a park, and it's freezing. This one was brutal because I forgot gloves, but I did manage to riff a little bit, and that helped. I'm still working on being more present on stage, and hopefully this is a step in the right direction. I'm really hoping the weather gets better soon because I'm getting tired of freezing my butt off.
All right, on deck we got Alex Gorge coming up right now, giving it for Matt Menard.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. I have a petition online right now. I think Tom Brady's butt chin should be changed. Now that he works for the Buccaneers, it should now be known as a Pirate's booty. My own personal thoughts. I don't know. I love Florida. You know, it's America's meth lab. You know, you can't hate Florida. I'm from Louisiana. We're America's meth takers. So it works out. Thank you, Florida. Yeah, man. I heard about that whole, you know, they're putting out bathing suits and stuff for women that are plus size. Nike put out a whole line. It's called realistic size. It didn't get much traction because women didn't like the term realistic size. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. But I buy Magnum condoms, you know? Like, I don't want a condom that's realistic sized. Lie to me, you know? Yeah, just the random thoughts I had today. But yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he said, you know, Matt, my life would be a lot easier if I were white. And I said, ugh, I don't think you'd make a good white guy, man. You say the N-word a lot. Plus, you're Puerto Rican. You might be part of the problem. Here's the thing, like being a white guy, being the only white guy in your friend group has a certain stigma, because normally it's, you know, let the white guy talk to the cops. Let the white guy talk to the cops. I went to a Black Lives Matter rally. The cops hit everybody now. And who knows, maybe that's progress, you know? I don't know. My name's Matt Menard, thanks so much.